Hello! Welcome to today's Merry Meet the Monster with me, Madam Ansa. Today is a very special day in Calendarland because we get to meet with our most notorious cryptid, Krampus. Now you might say that today's cryptid is the reason for the feast. It's my love of Krampus that led me to a wider appreciation of Yuletide monsters from around the world. So golly gee whiz, thanks Krampus! So Krampus, or Krampus, the Alpine Devil, is our seasonal cryptid par excellence, the diva of December devils, the homecoming queen of holiday horror. He generally plays opposite a very old world European Saint Nicholas, the long, berobed, bemitred kind, who delivers gifts to the good little kids, while Krampus hands out punishments to the naughty. Which are you? Where might one find Krampus now in their natural habitat? Although its roots are in the Alps, Krampus is now international. Many cities in many countries have Krampus parades or Krampuslauf. In a parade setting, they are often joined by a band of cherubs, angels, villagers, and many other Krampen or Krampuses. The good guys progress with dignity, handing out candy, while Krampus runs amok with chains, with a basket or sack for carrying off the bad kids, shaking bells, generally threatening everybody with a switch. Historically, though we know he came from the Alps, he now is international, with these Krampus walks happening in countries all over the world, including right here in Richmond, Virginia, usually around his night, which is December 5th. Krampus isn't just for kids. Adults have long enjoyed the action too. There are plenty of vintage images of sexy Krampus, both male and female, carrying off other adults for a spanking they don't seem to be trying to escape. Old postcards of the Yuletide Devil also frequently depict him driving a motorcycle with Saint Nick in the sidecar. Those are my favorites. And they speak volumes to the idea that rather than being evil? Krampus is bad for the purpose of being good. He is part of the natural holiday order. So what makes a Krampus a Krampus? Generally, he is depicted as a hairy, horned man with a disturbingly long tongue. He also shows up as a suave red devil in full opera dress, and also with every imaginable assortment of horns, antlers, fangs, beards, tusks, tails. I decided to ask a particularly gifted artist with quite a bit of Krampus mask making experience to his credit, what makes a Krampus a Krampus? So today we will be talking with Stephen Warwick, an amazingly gifted artist who made the Oracle of Assumption, which has just come out, and you should collect if you're interested in collecting art or you're into cartomancy. It is beautiful. Stephen has also worked with me in releasing my World Spirit Tarot in its second edition, all of my graphic design merch things over the years, and most notably, the Yuletide Monsters Advent Calendar. So please grip the edge of your seat with anticipation as I bring to you Richmond, Virginia's own Stephen Warwick. And now, my friends, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the man behind the manic mask, Stephen Warwick.
Hello.
There he is!
Here I am.
That's the guy, officer.
I'm not normally this hairy, I swear. That's a lie.
Just some places, just
Well,
all these places.
it's the beard. It's mostly the beard, yeah. Okay.
Well, hi.
Hi!
Thank you for being here.
Hey, no problem.
So I wanted to invite you here to talk to us a bit about Krampus, whatever you want to call him.
All right.
You are a person who has made several Krampus masks and have participated in many Krampus events.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us, you made what you're wearing now, right?
Yeah,
Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Well, okay, so I decided with the, I started with a ghillie suit like this, which is a suit for hunters, and it's nice and breathable versus a fur suit that's traditional for Krampus. Normally people wear like big fursuit's actually made out of pelts or fake fur and such, and it can be very, 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 very hot. But this is nice and breathable. It kind of like takes away your human form and makes you more shaggy, and it bounces around. And I've added some like hair attachments to it to make it nice
and unlike those fur pelts, it's going to be more suitable for our climate, which, unlike the Alps, could be almost mild this time of year.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. And the mask is paper mache.
You shove that right over there so they can really see how beautiful that is.
There we go. So the mask is paper mache, and it has the rest of the hood for the ghillie suit and such in it to make it more shaggy. A lot of hair extensions and such to make the beard. The teeth are acrylic, and the horns are actually real goat horns, and the eyes are glass. And I normally wear like a big black hood over my head so that you can't see my face inside the mouth.
Because you're looking out through the mouth.
Looking out through the mouth. That way the eyes can be so far apart and look more spooky that way. And he has sort of a snake look to him, versus other Krampuses that can look more human, or have their eyes closer together, have a more human nose.
What are some of the influences artistically that you brought to this set of choices?
Well, I wanted to kind of make him look a little bit like a Japanese Oni, which is a big ogre from Japanese mythology and such. And so his eyes are very far apart. He has a lot of tusks, and they're kind of going in a kind of zigzag pattern. And he looks like a big horned creature from the mountains and such. So yeah,
it is amazing.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you then, if, as we see, all Krampuses are different. Mm-hmm. Everybody's version of a Krampus. I mentioned earlier that in some of the representations, he's really almost just sort of a classic opera suit devil.
Yes.
Or this sort of wild, swampy mountain monster thing that you look like.
Yeah.
What makes a Krampus a Krampus?
Well, a Krampus really, it's kind of the interpretation of whoever's making it. But for the most part, it just needs to be a big hairy creature, something goat-like, and I really think. The number of horns can go from 2 to 6 or anything like that. It can have big fangs. But really what makes it distinct, I think, from other monsters is it has this big tongue right here. And it's always lashing its tongue out all the time. And that kind of makes it very distinct from other Yuletide monsters, so to speak. So.
That is true. And I will say, as a person who's drawn many a Krampus over time and carved them, the tongue is the hardest part. It would actually be easier to sculpt because in a drawing, it always just looks like, are you having beard problems? Is there a styling issue here? This is so clearly and magnificently Krampus face. And can I ask you about these eyes?
Yeah, these are glass taxidermy eyes. They're actually goat eyes or sheep eyes. So they have that very distinct kind of sideways pupil that makes it look nice and creepy.
Yes, very non-human.
Very non-human.
Yeah.
And they're also glass, so they're shiny, so they look wet like a real eye, which is in good contrast to the matte of its skin and the matte of its horns and such.
And your ghillie suit too. Everything about the rest of it makes it look. This is great because it is similar to fur and these lovely hair extensions that you added. It's furry, but it just clearly says I'm not human.
Yes.
You can almost be not just a creature of the forest, but the forest.
Yeah, well, that's the idea with these suits, is that it kind of disperses what we visually, our brains register as a human form. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of the ultimate camouflage. If I was just sitting in a hay bale, you'd never be able to see me, or if I was just hanging out in the woods, I'd pretty much just blend in. And this particular ghillie suit is sort of like a desert color. So it looks more like hair from a distance and such like that versus the green ones or the white ones and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's almost Sasquatchy.
Kind of Sasquatchy, yeah. kind of Bigfoot-like.
So
yeah.
Sasquatch Warwick is really...
Yeah, that's my new name now, yeah.
Really what we're going for. Well, thank you so much for sharing this. It's so amazing. Do you mind putting it back on your head for a minute? Can you do that?
I can try. Yeah, let's see.
I know you don't have the hood underneath it, but...
So it'll look more weird that way, but yeah.
Put your extra eyes in there. Sorry, this was not part of the script. Just wanted to... I've seen you in it a million times, and it never occurred to me that you were actually looking out through its mouth. Mm-hmm. That adds a level of height, too, bringing its eyes so close to the top of its head.
Yeah, it makes them taller looking,
Yes.
So you see staring down at you, and that makes it more intimidating. So.
And it's almost like dragony or serpentine, the way its eyes are up and far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do a little turn around. Thank you so much, Steve.
Oh, you're welcome.
So today on Mary Meet the Monster, you met an actual monster. Where can they find you if they want to see more of your art?
You can find me.
Performance art?
Oh yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Stove Oven Mitts.
Come this way.
And oh, sorry.
That's
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Stove Oven Mitts. And
There's a whole story behind that, I promise.
it's a stage name. It's fun. And there we go. Yeah, and you can find me on Facebook as well under Stephen Warwick. So yeah,
2 R's.
2 R's. Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Woo! My friends, that was Stephen Warwick, and I have been Madam Onsite here with you on this edition of Merry Meet the Monster. Come back tomorrow, and we will see what we shall see. So, as I was going to say, there he is, it's Krampus. Quick, someone pour some peppermint schnapps. It's over there, Woo, that was close.